Welcome, have a nice day. Today is Thursday, 1st of June 2023. This day is celebrated as World Milk Day. World Milk Day is celebrated to recognize the dairy sector's contributions to sustainability, development, livelihoods, and nutrition. Also, 1842, Satyendranath Tagore, the first Indian to join the Indian Civil Services, was born. Satyendranath Tagore was born on 1st June 1842, remember. So, starting the newspaper analysis with the newspaper, The Hindu states that Eastern Ladakh, Raw India, China agreed to hold next round of military talks soon. India and China on May 31 held in-person diplomatic talks here and discussed proposals for disengagement in the remaining friction points along the line of actual control in the Eastern Ladakh in a frank and open manner. The Ministry of External Affairs said restoration of peace and tranquility will create conditions for normalizing bilateral relations. Army jawans during an exercise in Eastern Ladakh. The Hindu newspaper also states that Jai Shankar to meet Lavrov at a BRICS FM meeting in South Africa. Agenda including Brazil, a pact plan for an alternate BRICS currency to avoid sanctions against Russia. Mr. Jai Shankar likely to discuss G20 consensus statement with Chinese Russian FMs. Dr. S. Jai Shankar, External Affairs Minister. Mike Pence to launch campaign for president in Iowa June 7. The campaign is expected to lean heavily on town halls and retail shops aimed at showcasing Mr. Pence's personality as he tries to emerge from former President Donald Trump's shadow. Former Vice President Mike Pence will officially launch his widely expected campaign for the Republican nomination for president in Iowa next week. Going towards the Indian Express newspaper states that Hindu women's plea on right to worship maintainable High Court on Gyan Vapi. The court upheld the September 12, 2022 order of the Varanasi court, which held the suit to be maintainable. The court held the September 12, 2022 order of the Varanasi court, which held the suit to be maintainable. Indian Express also states that Swiss ambassador writes fighting together for a peaceful world. Switzerland and India share a common commitment vision for peace in troubling times. As a Swiss diplomat, one of my tasks is to explain the realities and policies of my country. There are evident convergences when it comes to Swiss and Indian foreign policy priorities. GDP figures show resilience of economy, says Prime Minister Modi. India neither consuming nor producing counters Congress. India's GDP grew 6.1% in the January-March quarter as compared to 4.4% in the previous quarter. As India's GDP numbers were put out on Wednesday, a war of words broke out between the central government and the Congress party. The real GDP in the year 2022-23 is estimated to attain a level of rupees 160.06 lakh crore as against to the first revised estimates of GDP of the year 2021-22 of rupees 149.26 lakh crore. Going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper states that China scaling up air power across a line of actual control satellite images. China's expansion of airfields along the line of actual control since 2020 has created capabilities for its military to conduct a wide range of operations and to counter India's comparative advantage in some areas, according to the analysis of the satellite imagery. A satellite view in the line of actual control. Four Rifle fighter jets took off from Hashimara Air Base in West Bengal. An Indian Air Force strike force of 4 Rifle fighter jets took off from the Hasimara Air Base in West Bengal outmaneuvered a large engagement force of hostile warplanes and carried out a precision strike against a high-value target in the strategic Indian Ocean region (IOR) in an exercise that showcased the Air Force's capabilities to strike far and strike hard. Officials aware of the matter said on Wednesday to be sure no weapons were actually fired in the exercise. Stalin urges Center for Chennai Tokyo flight. Chennai, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin on Wednesday urged Union Civil Aviation Ministry Jyotiraditya Scindia to introduce direct flight connectivity between Tokyo and Chennai and increases the number of flights between Singapore and Madurai. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin riding bullet train on Okasa, Japan. Going towards the economy of the country, India's GDP expanded 6.1% in 2022-23's last quarter. Full year manufacturing GVA slid to 1.3% from 11.1%. Only 3 of 8 sectors, including farming and services, reducing higher GVA for financial year 23. Despite Q4 uptick, consumption remained tepid. The gross value added in the economy is reckoned to have risen 7% in 2022-23. China's factory activity falls faster than expected as recovery stumbles. China's factory activity shrank faster than expected in May on weakening demand, heaping pressure on policymakers to shore up a patchy economic recovery and knocking Asian financial markets lower. Manufacturing PMI unexpectedly falls. Non-manufacturing PMI falls as services slow. The reading pushed markets in Asia into the red, with the yuan and Australian and New Zealand dollars tumbling and regional stocks falling sharply. World's largest grain storage plant center to implement pilot project in 10 districts. Various schemes of the Ministries of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Consumers Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and Food Processing Industries have been converged. Farmers could sell their crops into primary agricultural credit society by receiving some advance payment at the minimum support price. Going towards the world news, including LET terrorist Abdul Salam Bhutawi, who trained 26/11 attackers, dies in Pakistan jail. Germany orders closure of 4 out of 5 Russian consulates and tit-for-tat move. Qatar Prime Minister Taliban chief holds secret Afghan talks. Drone attack Russian oil refiners near a major oil port, officials say. Officials discovered what to turn Venice's Grand Canal green. China's young people can't find jobs, Xi Jinping says to eat bitterness. Going towards the science and technology, private flight with 2 Saudi astronauts returned from space station with Gulf of Mexico splashed down. In this image taken from the video broadcast by SpaceX crew members, view after the SpaceX Dragon capsule splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico, just off Florida Panhandle on May 30, 2023. The private flight carrying 2 Saudi astronauts and other passengers returned to Earth after a 9-day trip to the International Space Station. The SpaceX capsule carrying the 4 parachuted into the Gulf of Mexico just off the Florida Panhandle 12 hours after undocking from the orbiting lab. Health issues in young Indian adults in the aftermath of pandemic. The personal health challenges of the generation who became an adults during the COVID-19 pandemic, how they deal with them and what it heralds for the future. Youngsters are keen to keep fit, a karate champ in Madurai. Treatment worth rupees 61,501 crore are provided under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Cancer treatment, emergency care, orthopedic and urology, kidney-related ailments top at the territory care specialist treatment available by beneficiaries under the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana ABPMJ till date as per data. Approximately 49% of Ayushman card recipients are women, says the health minister. The ABPMJ is being implemented in 33 states and union territory except Delhi, Odisha, West Bengal. At last, there is a famous quotation said by Rabindranath Tagore, whose birth anniversary is 7 May 1861 up to 7 August 1941, was a Bengali poet, writer, playwright, composer, philosopher, social reformer, and a painter. Reshaped Bengali literature and music as well as Indian art with a contextual modernism in the late 19th and early 20th century. Author of the profoundly sensitive, fresh, and beautiful poetry of Gitanjali, he became in 1913 the first non-European and the first lyricist to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. Tagore's poetic songs were viewed as spiritual and mercurial. However, his elegant prose and magical poetry remain largely unknown outside Bengal. He was a fellow of the Royal Asiatic Society, referred to as Bard of Bengal. Tagore was known by the sobriquets Gurudev, Kobi Guru, and Biswa Kobi. Mr. Rabindranath Tagore says a famous quotation is that the fundamental desire of life is the desire to exist. Okay, thank you.